Hey there, let's get my Canvas class ready for the end of this term. I've got several different tips that I want to share with you. My favorite one is at the very end. Let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm here in my stats class, and the very first thing that I want to do is to make sure that all of my assignment categories are correct. So I'm going to click on assignments. So clicking on assignments over here on the left-hand side, I've got mine set up into assignment categories. If yours aren't, you can do this by clicking on Add Group. I've got a video that can help you with that, but mine are already set up in these categories. I want to make sure that every assignment is in the right place. So I've got these participation scores here. I've got my assignments. These are like homework assignments, and I've got my exams. So let's see. Well, I've got this final slideshow, which should not be in imported assignments. To move that, you've got two choices. You can click on the three dots and click on Move To, which I never do. Instead, I grab this array of dots and then I click hold and I drag it up into the right category. This one actually lives in exams and projects. So you can continue to move those around until you've got everything in the right category. Now that I've got this done, I'm going to make sure that I've got letter grades assigned to each of my students' totals. At our school, we assign letter grades, not grade points. So I'm going to do that by going to settings. So scrolling down over here to the very bottom, I'm going to click on settings. And in that main course detail screen, I'm going to scroll down until I see this grading scheme. And I've got my grading scheme enabled, so you want that clicked if you're showing letter grades as well. I can view this and then make any edits by clicking on that pencil. Mine is good to go, so I'm gonna hit save. You can learn more about that in my description down below. Let me click the X here and then update course details. Once I've got that done, let's go into the grades tab to number one, make sure that those letter grades are showing up, and number two, to do some additional cleanup. I'm gonna click grades, and I've got my students' names hidden now, which is great. I'm just gonna use the scroll bar and go all the way over here to the right-hand side where my totals are. Now, I do have an assignment here that's hidden, which is why you're seeing the eyeball with the little line through it. And you'll see that those letter grades are showing up. I'm gonna show you how to put this override column in. That's one of the things that we're gonna cover. But I first wanna show you how to move this total to the front. It's so much easier to go through your final grades if this is in front with their names. As I'm hovering over total, I get those three dots and I can click there, and then I'm just gonna click on Move to Front, which is super nice. Okay, so take a look. Those scores are now in front. Next, I want to make sure that any assignments that haven't been submitted are counted as a 0. The default in Canvas is to just not count it at all in their overall grade. Now, there's a way to do this globally, but I want to show you how to do it by assignment first, starting with this week 5 in-class activity. Now, I wish there was a great way, but there isn't. I'm just looking for those dashes, and I'm just going to change those into a 0. Change those into a 0. Now I want to show you how to do that globally for all of your assignments. And I do this at the very start of the quarter. To do that, we're going to go up here to settings. I'm going to click on that gear, and we're in late policies, that very first tab. Notice that I've got automatically apply grade for missing submissions, and I've got that one checked. And the grade for missing submissions is automatically set to a 0. The reason that they showed up as a dash is because I put the dash in there because I wanted to demonstrate it to you, but this is such a nice way to go. Now on Canvas's website, it did tell me that it would affect your previous scores, which is great, right? Because you can assign 0 at the end of the quarter for all of those. But in my experience, it doesn't always work. So I would just double check. While we're here in Gradebook settings, there's one more feature that I want to show you, and it is under Advanced. This has this checkbox that allows you to overwrite the final grade. I use this a lot, especially if I've got got a student who's sitting there like at an 89.2%, my grading scheme will give them a B+, but I really want to bump their grade up. With this set, let me go ahead and hit apply settings here. I am going to scroll all the way over here to where that override grade is, and I can change somebody's grade to say a 90. So if I put in a 90%, it changes that to an A-. Now let me get rid of that because I don't actually know what that student was. Oh, here they were an A, so they don't want an A-. But that's a really great way to get the scores that you want for your students. Okay, so next tip for ending the quarter is a course evaluation. So I like to give my students a course evaluation towards the end, like the last week of the term, and they're really, really easy to do with Canvas. You can create this in the quiz tab, but I actually want to drop it right into my final week's module. And I've got all of my modules closed, so it goes to the last open one. I'm looking for my week 12. You'll see that I already have a course evaluation here. I want to show you how I created that. I'm going to click on the plus button, and I want to do not an assignment, but a quiz. And I'm just going to click create quiz, and I'm using classic quizzes for these. And I'm just going to say temp eval. So I'm just going to write temp eval, and the assignment group, I'm going to put it in participation, indentation, I guess. So I'm going to indent one level and then add item. I'm going to click on this so that I can start to add some more instructions. So let's click edit here. And right here, I could put some instructions. I like to make mine extra credit, and I just give them like 2 points or something. So I like to make mine extra credit. Canvas does not do a great job with extra credit. So I'm going to show you how to work around that. It's not the best workaround, so be prepared, lower your expectations. You could either do an ungraded survey if you were not giving any points for this. I'm going to do a graded survey. The nice thing about the survey is it's not marking anything right or wrong. And I'm going to give it a score of 0 points. Whoops, it has that dash there. I'm going to give it a score of 0 points. So anything I add on top of that will be extra credit. I don't want them to see their quiz responses. That's not important. None of the other things are important. You could certainly set up a due date here and then click on save. I'm not going to publish it yet because I've got to add those questions. Okay, editing again gets me up to the top there, and then questions. I like to just add some really simple question. Let's go ahead and click on add new question. I'm going to do an essay question. So essay question. How did the class go for you? Include examples of what worked well and what didn't. Okay, period. And then update question. And then I'm going to add another question that says, what suggestions do you have for me to improve the class for future students? Okay, and then so on, and then click on here. You can click on now save and publish. So I actually just deleted that one because I don't want to confuse my students. This is actually my live class. But the students that have taken my course evaluation are actually getting a 0 for it right now, and I want to give them extra credit. So I'm going to go back into grades, and I wish there was a nice workaround for extra credit. I'm sure it's coming someday, right? But I am going to go to, I am in participation, which is perfect. Yeah, here it is. I've got out of 0, right? I really want to give these students here that have a 0 2 points. The easiest way that I find to do this is to sort grade by lowest to highest. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go ahead and just enter in a 2 for all of these. So I'm just doing 2 enter all the way down here until I get to the last one, 1, 2, 3. And then I'll go back, and then I'll make sure anyone else that takes the course evaluation after this will also get those 2 points extra credit. Okay, so a workaround, but it works. Next, let's go to the inbox and we're gonna set up your out of office reply. This is pretty new to Canvas, so you may not have used this before. I'm gonna click on my inbox and then I'm gonna go to the settings. So clicking on the gear up here brings up your out of office reply. So I just say response on, and I am going to be gone starting the 11th, and I'm going to be returning, can you believe it? We have to come back on the 2nd. So I'm going to be returning the 2nd, and then out of office for winter break. And then down below, you can put whatever you'd want to let your student know. So nice. I love that this is now a new feature, and you can even add a signature line there. Okay, I'm going to cancel because I'm not really quite ready to do that. Finally, my very, very favorite tip, which I often forget, is to add notes for yourself. I'm going to go into modules and do it there. So let's click on modules. These are things that you want to remember for the next time around. I'm going to scroll all the way up and click on add module, and I'm going to call this notes for me, and then a reminder, do not publish. Okay, so I'm going to click on add module. The other favor that I'm going to do for myself before I start adding things to it is to scroll down to the very bottom, and I want to move this to the top. I've made these before and then completely forgotten about them the next time I ran this class. So I'm going to click the 3 dots and I am going to say move module, and I want to move it to the very top. So click on move there. Okay, now I can go ahead and just add some notes here. I can add a page with some reminders, do these things. I can add maybe an assignment that I wish I would have included, a discussion board that somebody suggested to me. But these are the things that don't live in this current class that I wish did, or the things that I would correct the next time around. Trust me, your future self is going to so thank your present you. I would love to know the kinds of things that you do as you are closing out a class for the term. I've got more Canvas for you here.